Okay, so again, I would like to introduce Melanie McKay. She's with the Rykers Foundation, and she's going to talk about the services and supports that they offer to the community. Thank you, Melanie, for taking the time to be here with us today.
Of course, I'm happy to be here, even if it's just for an hour. So yes, we are with Rykers Foundation for Pompe disease. The foundation was established in 2017 more as advocacy for newborn screening because back then there were only 8 states that were newborn screening, and my home state of Oregon was not one of them. And so as a result, my son was diagnosed late with infantile Pompe disease and was very sick due to it. So we've kind of morphed from there because there are so many states that are newborn screening now, which is awesome. I don't even know what number we're up to, if anybody could fill that in the 40s somewhere. Um, so now we have really focused on donations to research. That has been our biggest thing. We've almost hit 75,000 over the last several years of donating. And it's not just to Duke, it's also to Florida, University of Florida, I believe. It's the Gators. In Gainesville, they have also a Pompe program that we wanted to show the love to. And so we switch off every other year to our donations to research. And we have also been allocating not a ton of money, but some monies to help in our Pompe community with equipment, appointments that aren't covered, travel expenses. And we usually allocate between 3,000 and 5,000 per year for that, for specific Pompe patients. And they just reach out to us and go through that application process with us. And we have one main event. Sorry, I have a 1-year-old ripping everything off the computer desk. We have one main event up in Portland. We're in the Pacific Northwest, and I partner with another mom, Colleen. Her son and my son are 1 year apart, and they both have infantile Pompe disease. So we have one big fun run event, kind of a walk that we do in the summer, like usually July-ish. So shout out to her. She can't be here because Axel is actually in infusion right now. So that's about it. We're just happy that you guys had us, and we're a smaller 47 states and DC. Thank you, Ryan, for newborn screening. So yeah, that's us. We're a small organization. We are in the Pacific Northwest, and we really try to partner with the other Pompe folks in our area, especially who have kids. And yeah. If anybody has questions, I'm happy to answer them.
Melanie, but when do you usually do your fun run? Is it around a certain time of year?
It has changed. We usually are in June or July. Last year it
Hmm.
was July, and we haven't booked our official date yet.
Hmm.
But yes, we would love to see more of our community members out there. We have a lot of Pompe kids in our area. So they come from Portland and Salem, and then I'm down in Albany. So we've seen a lot of folks from our state, but we'd love to see more.
That's great. Yeah, if you send information, the AMDA would be happy to put it on their Instagram.
Oh, that's excellent. I will definitely do that.
I'm sorry, Melanie, I missed when you said you have your fun run.
It's usually in June or July, but we haven't booked it this year yet. We were literally talking about it last week that Colleen and I needed to pick a date. We both have 3 kids, and 2 of our kids are up at the infusion center every week, so it's we're always running behind.
Yeah, we're happy to share. We're always happy to share information that any of the organizations of their events that they're having. We're always happy to share as well.
Great.
My in-laws are in the Portland area, and we usually come out there like once a year in the summer. Yeah.
Oh, that would be perfect. We would love
Yeah.
to have you. We do it in Clackamas, which is a suburb of Portland.
Yep. I know
So
Clackamas.
yeah, that's where our fun run is. So we would love to
All
have
right.
you.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Keep us posted.
I will.
Does anybody else have questions for Melanie, just in case she has to go before we get to that part of the meeting? I don't have any questions, and I just wanted to say hi.
Hi, I miss you
Hi.
guys. I'm so sad that there's not a infantile meeting this year in
I
person,
know. I
but
know.
we'll be there next year for sure, and we will catch up. And I'll let you play with the baby.
Of course, yeah. I think she's one, right? So
Yeah,
her age is only like 2 years apart. So
yeah,
yeah, he would love that.
yeah. They would be so cute playing together.
All right.
I'm
Thank
super
you, Melanie.
informal. I'm sorry I didn't present anything with slides or anything like that, but I'm happy I could come on here and share.
Right. Oh, do you want to put your contact or any of that kind of information in the chat in case
Yes,
people, if you have an email or something?
I would love to do that.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. I'll
All
mute
right.
myself so you don't hear the baby crying. She's getting annoyed.
Thank you. Thanks, Melanie, for your time.
Of course.
All right. So our next presenter is Allison. And Allison, I always butcher your last name. I'm so sorry.
You're fine.
Um,
It's Breitbarth. It's really long.
Allison is the executive director and founder of Grants Giants with her husband. They're in Indiana, and they're doing a lot of really wonderful stuff. So I'm really excited for Allison to be able to share with everyone what they're doing. They've got some new programs actually that just came about in the last month or so. Allison, do you
Do you want me to share my screen?
yeah, can you do that? Or do I need to give you permission to
I
share
think
it?
you have to give me permission to share my screen. Oh, wait, maybe not. Let's see.
I changed it so that multiple participants can share.
Okay, let's see.
Or
Yes, I think it'll work.
if
My
okay, if
husband, I'm
not, I
sure, will make fun of me here, but I
okay, if not, I
think I
have
have
it.
to close a few of my tabs. So we'll just get rid of them. All right, let's see if this will work now. Yes. Okay.
Yes, we can see it.
Okay, great. Look at that. I'm getting better with technology here. So, all right. And I only have slides because it's just easier for me to talk about things when I have them in front of me a little bit. So, a little bit about me. So, as Heather said, I'm Allison Breitbarth. I live in Indianapolis, Indiana, which is where Grants Giants is based out of. I'm the mom of two boys. Our oldest is 7, and then Grant, it will be 4 later this month. So about the time Grant turned 1, I decided I was, I don't know, ready to do something to kind of give back to the Pompe community. Grant got really lucky. He was diagnosed with IOPD, infantile Pompe, on newborn screening. So 2 years ago, we decided to have found Grants Giants. And so it's kind of hit the ground running very quickly. And we've done a lot of things in a short amount of time, which we've been very excited about. We have a great community around us in Indianapolis that supports us, family and friends. And so we do a lot of fundraising through some events that I can talk about too. But just kind of the basics of a few things that we do. We provide a lot of scholarships for patients to be seen by the Duke team. and those can cover your travel and accommodations, as well as out-of-pocket appointment costs while you're there at Duke. We fund durable medical equipment, lift chairs, beds that are, trying to think of the word at the moment, adjustable beds. We've done some wheelchairs. We also work with other Pompe nonprofits to work on some bigger projects too when it's a bigger ask. And then we help with just travel to and from Pompe related appointments and infusions. One of the big things that we do is we host the annual Pompe family meetup. And I have a whole slide on it, so I'll talk about that in a second. And then the two new grant opportunities that we have this year is the Connor Cares Sibling Support Program, and I'll talk about that more in a second, as well as our $1,500 monthly grant program. So that will be one that is given every month. And so I'll kind of go into a little bit more detail about these. But since we've started, we've probably sent, I don't know, between 15 and 20 patients to Duke, somewhere in there. And so that application is always up on our website, grantsgiants.com. So you can just go financial assistance and then click assistance to going to Duke and fill out that form there. My husband's giving me some pointers from the other room. This was just kind of back to durable medical equipment and some of the things that we have funded. So the Pompe Family Meetup will be October 10th through the 12th. And it's going back to Camp Pyoka, which is where we were last year for the meetup. It is about an hour and a half south of Indianapolis, so it's easy to fly into Indianapolis or Louisville. Indianapolis is probably a little bit easier. We also offer travel stipends for this, and then once at the meetup, all costs are covered while you're there. So that is a super fun and exciting event. We were really excited to have families from across the United States attend this year, as well as a family from Canada. So it is open to IOPD as well as LOPD. The first focus for registration is toward pediatric, but we also welcome adult patients to attend as well. The Connor Cares Sibling Support Program is something I'm very excited about. So I feel Pompe is something that affects your whole family. It's not just the child that's going through it or the patient and the parents, it's everyone. So we're excited to start this program. It's a $250 grant, and a child can use it in a variety of ways. It could be an after school activity that they are really excited about doing. Maybe it's a summer camp. Maybe they just want to have a special day and go do some of their favorite things that they love. I know for Grant, that would be like, I'm going to go play mini golf. But every kid is different. So really excited to see where this grant goes and the impact that it makes in the community. This is open to apply for on our website. I've added it to our website, so it is there under financial assistance. You can click Connor Cares Sibling Support Program. It's also on our Facebook page, so you can find it there, and the Google form to apply for that. So anyone basically is eligible if they have a sibling who is on treatment for Pompe disease. So that is one of the eligibility requirements, is it is a sibling on treatment. This is the other monthly grant program that we are excited about. So this one is a $1,500 grant, and it is you can get it one time. So this has a little bit more of a longer application. So I have not made it a Google form yet, but I'm going to try to get there. Right now, it is still a regular form. You can either fill that out by typing directly on it or printing it and filling it out and then emailing it to us at grantsgiants@gmail.com. So this can be used for a variety of things. Appointments not covered by insurance, therapy not covered by insurance, medical equipment, transportation costs that you've accumulated traveling to and from infusions and appointments. It gives a little bit of freedom as to how you need to use it. Maybe you need to use it for more than one of those things. But this does not change the things that we will continue to fund. We will still be funding durable medical equipment, scholarships to Duke. This is just in addition a particular grant that we will offer. So here is just my contact information as well as our website and where you can find us on Facebook and Instagram. So hopefully that was helpful. The only thing that I didn't get a slide on here for that I forgot about is the new program that we're working on that is the Infusion Role Play Project. If you've been on our Facebook, you've probably seen it. We are partnering with the Butterfly Pig, who makes infusion role play items that look almost, I mean, they look identical to what you would see in an infusion center. So that way, kids are going to be able to role play an infusion using a stuffed animal. So we're very excited about that project. And I think as of a little bit ago, we have 65 stuffed animals that have been purchased by all kinds of people in the community and friends and family to go toward this project. So we're very excited and hoping that we will have these in hands heading out on close to Pompe Day, so mid-April. So thank you. So yeah, thank you, Heather, for letting me share. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Allison. Allison, I remember we had a meeting, Pompe Alliance had a meeting a couple years ago where we talked about, I don't even remember, but I remember you came and you were talking then about starting your organization. So yeah, it's
Yeah.
been neat to see that evolution.
Thank you. Yes, it was a big dream, and yeah, it's getting there.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. So we'll we'll have questions at the end after the remaining two presentations.
Perfect.
So our next presentation will be with from Tiffany House at AMDA. Marcia Zimmerman is also on the call, who also works with AMDA. I'm not sure if Marcia's participating in the presentation, but maybe at the end, Marcia, you can kind of introduce yourself and let people know what you do and how you support the community. All right, Tiffany, do you have slides?
I do. Give me one
Okay.
second. And I want to start out by saying that I did not make these slides. My incredible assistant, Julie did. So I do not take the credit for that. You should have, I think most of you met her at the conference. All right. So just to give a little historical context, the AMDA, we're headquartered in San Antonio, Texas.
You like the pictures?
We have
I guess there's a
basically all part-time staff. We have Marcia Zimmerman, who Heather pointed out that really takes on all of the patient advocacy side. She is there when any patient has a problem, anybody needs something. She loves to, tackle a problem and figure out a solution. We also have Morgan Burrows, who does our social media. Then we have Andrea Ferris, who handles more of the other parts of the other parts of social media, like Instagram. He's fully responsible for our new Instagram page. Then we've got Matt Zimmerman. He is in charge of all things in IT. So when you go to our website, you see all the videos we have up now of past conferences. He gets the credit for all of that. And then finally, we have Jules, who helps keep us focused and scheduled out. So we are a much bigger staff than we were at the beginning. At the beginning, it was just my parents. Marcia joined us in 2002, I believe, but she will correct me if I'm wrong. The goal of the AMDA has always been focused on promoting research and advocating for patients with Pompe. At the time I was diagnosed, I was 12, and the doctors told my family, she'll live through her second decade, there's nothing being done, nothing you can do. It was wrong information. My parents started going to the medical library in San Antonio where we lived, and they found out there was research being done. There was research being done at Duke, at Erasmus, in Australia, in Taiwan, multiple places. And so what they did is they looked around, and the AGSD US was really the only glycogen storage disease organization at the time. And their focus was not Pompe. They were primarily focused on the liver ones, so type 1, type 5. And so they decided to start their own organization with the sole focus being uh, Pompe. And by 1996, they had made contact with enough of the researchers, and we brought them together in San Antonio for the first scientific conference on Pompe disease. That was 29 years ago, 30 years ago, we were formed. Since then, we've kept going, and we're lucky that we now have a treatment. But we're always looking for better, right? And so the AMDA is going to be there to continue to push for better treatments, better management. Our advocacy and education initiatives, we have our website, which we're updating. We have webinars. And in fact, in probably March or April, I think March and April we'll have several. Ryan's doing one in a few weeks. We also have one from the group at Erasmus on the Erasmus survey. We also have an open forum Zoom series that we started, and we're going to come up with that one, talking with the Pompe peeps. And it's just a really informal way to chat. The feedback we got at the last conference was patients wanted more time to interact one-on-one and in a group, and just to throw their problems out there, look for suggestions. We have Matt Zimmerman hosting the next one, and it's going to be on how do you tackle challenges or resolutions, things like that. Taking it, an easy way to take it step by step. We have monthly newsletters. If you haven't signed on to get one, please do. And we have a fundraiser, and it goes to the Helen Walker grant for Pompe disease. Most of y'all probably don't know Helen Walker, but she was a Pompe patient in Australia that fought for an incredibly long time to get treatment approved. And she was a great, good friend. And then, like I said, we co-host international patient and scientific conferences with the IPA. So I mentioned the webinars we've done, 25 to date, and they are all available on our website. The open forum Zoom series, we promote those through our newsletter, Instagram, Facebook. So if you're not getting them, let us know and we'll help figure that out. Went too far. We do a fundraiser every year in the March, April timeframe, and it's been going on. I think this is going to be year 13, although we did skip 2020. And the fundraiser is put together by a group called the PCMA of Texas, and they are a precast manufacturing association, a bunch of contractors basically, and suppliers, and they all come together because our family's in that industry, and they came to us and said, we're tired of money going to other organizations we don't know. We know you, we want to help. And so it's a shooting event because we are in Texas. And so far, I'm very proud to say we've raised over $7 million throughout the years for research, not just through the fundraiser, but it's a great event if y'all are ever around, definitely stop by. It's going to be April 26th this year. And you can ask Ryan, he's been there a couple times and I think he liked it. Or at least he keeps coming back. And then this is the conference. I know many of y'all were there. I saw a lot of you, and we hope you had a good time. Our next one will probably be in the 2028 timeframe. Need just a bit of time to recover and start planning. Different collaborations. It's really important to us to stay in touch with the researchers, the clinicians. We have meetings with the biotech companies. We're involved in newborn screening advocacy. So if there's ever any way that we can help support others' efforts, please reach out. We're great at sending letters and helping where we can. So yeah, we have our hands full at the moment. And so this is kind of the end of the AMDA side. And Heather, do you have a few minutes to talk about the IPA?
Yes. I'm glad you brought that up because I hadn't even considered that. But yeah, that would be great.
And the history of the IPA. The IPA was founded in 1999. And this photo is actually from a meeting that was in 1998. And at that meeting, everybody came together and said, you know what, we need to find a way for all of the patient organizations around the world to work together. And like our motto says, together we are strong. It's really true. As a united global community, we had more influence and more power when meeting with industry and others. We were very lucky to have a great deal of support from the expert researcher clinician community. And in fact, if you look closely, you can see Nina Raven is here, Hans van der Ploeg is there, Marissa, if y'all know her, and that's all I can recognize from the photo. But there were a lot more people there. And so yeah, ever since 1999, we've made it our mission to work with industry and the scientific and medical community to support the Pompe community as a whole. Our belief is that you have to have all three voices at the table. And the fourth voice is regulators. They should also be involved. And it's because it takes our voice to say, this is our unmet needs. This is how we feel about your approach. And so we've been very pushy, I guess, I don't know, and suggesting to industry that it is much more in their interest to work with us from the very beginning so we can start helping them mold even their clinical trials to be something that patients will tolerate, that patients feel that they can do, because travel can be so incredibly difficult. So that's been one of our big things over the years. And then also to say, how do we make treatment equal and fair across the world and access to treatment? Because it isn't always. And in the US, I don't know that we always realize how lucky we have it, if I'm honest, because we have the ability, most of us anyway, to get off-label dosing of the different drugs. Outside of the United States for late onset, that's not possible. It just doesn't happen. So we try to advocate for the need to have broader dosing abilities. So I think I already mentioned most of that. That's the QR code for the IPA. The IPA Community Board. This is something we're really excited about. We started it back in 2019, and the goal of the community board is that we have a neutral, patient-driven group of advocates who are available if industry or medical centers working on clinical trials, anybody interested in learning more about Pompe from the patient perspective. We have patients from the US, Italy, France, Netherlands, Hong Kong, Australia, Germany, Japan, Greece, and New Zealand. So we really tried to cover the globe as much as we could. And we started with 19 members. We now have about 30. And we're always looking for new ones. Haley joined us this last year, and we were very excited about that. So if any of y'all are interested, please do reach out. It's a great opportunity to help share your experiences, but also the communities you represent. And then I mentioned the IPA Erasmus survey. Please ignore the QR code. It is being redone at the moment. So the survey is really the only active patient-reported outcome survey out there. It has been going on since 2002. So there is a ton of historical data. It has led to understanding about pain and fatigue in Pompeii, items that were not really taken seriously at the beginning, but then they were realized to be significant side effects of the disease. They have hired a new program manager for the survey, and IPA is funding that project. The idea is to modernize it, make it more professional. We want to make it easier for patients to participate. And we also want eventually for there to be a way for patients, after they complete the survey, to get their own data back at tracking, so they can track how they've done year over year. So that's a module that we will be pursuing in the next few years. We've also recently translated it into also Italian and Spanish, which we're very proud of, and they're fully validated. And we now have those, the ability for those. I would say, I'm going to, speak to my US patients here. We have a lot more patients than other countries, and we do not have the best representation. So if some of y'all could help me, encourage people to join, that would be fantastic. I know it says that Spain and Italy are upcoming. They are now fully open, and we are enrolling patients from both of those countries. So, yeah. And I mentioned we will be having a webinar in a few months on this topic. And this was the CAB meeting at our first time we all got together in 2019. And you'll see a lot of familiar faces. So that is it.
I was about to say I recognize someone or a lot of people in there.
Yep.
Thank you, Tiffany. Marcia, do you want to say a few words real quick before we move on to Ryan and Paloma, just so people in the meeting know who you are?
Hi, I'm Marcia Zimmerman. I've worked with the AMDA since 2003. Like Tiffany says, I love to troubleshoot. So if you have any issues, give me a call. There isn't anything I won't try to do. I'm really good at it. I'm a research nurse. I'm an retired RN and did a lot of research, a lot of what did I do? Auditing research. So I know a lot about clinical trials and all that kind of stuff. And I have a ton of information being part of the AMDA since 2003. So let me know if you need anything. And that's about it. I'm always around I work really early. So if you get a really early morning 8, that's when I do my work, and I check every now and again in the afternoon. But it gets busy here. I have my son and 2 grandkids living here, and it's just crazy. Anyway,
She does get
Marcia,
up really early, really early.
I just don't sleep well, so I get up and I like it in the middle of the night. So I get up at 4 and I work 4 until whenever I get done. Depends on the day. Anyway, it's my
do
time.
you have an email that you would like to put in the chat?
Sure, I'll do that.
Okay. And so, for
I'm gonna do
example,
my personal one. I have an AMDA one. Maybe I'll do both.
okay,
But I get the Gmail one on my phone easier than the AMDA one. So if you want me sooner versus later, the Marzim one is the one to email. Okay.
okay. And so an example of something that Marcia does is she helps write letters if you're trying to get disability, things like that. And so if you've been denied, she can help with letters
Appeal.
for your right to appeal your application. She helped my brother do that. So that's just an example of some of the things that she can help patients do.
Yeah. Yeah. Doing the stuff, year in, year out. There isn't anything that comes in that's new, which is good for everyone and good for me. I don't have to reinvent the wheel. So yeah, and if I don't know how to do it, I can figure it out. But I'm really good if you get charged. I sat on the pharmacy committee when I was at UT, and I learned from them if they don't code it right and they don't get insurance to pay them back, they'll pass it on to the patient without any
Right.
qualms. They'll pass it on and try to get the patient to pay for it. And so sitting there listening to that for 2 or 3 years, I learned a lot. So I'm really good at fact finding and getting them to pay for their mistakes. So I help a lot of people when they get billed the wrong way. I don't know. So that's not a problem for me. I love to do it. So if you have issues like that, give me a call.
Right. Thank
All right,
you, Marcia. All right. So our last but not least is Ryan. I think is Paloma participating? Is she presenting with you, Ryan? Or is
I'm
she
here.
just here? Okay, I knew you were here. I wasn't sure if you were participating in the presentation or not.
I was making
It's
dinner.
always
She'll
it's
keep me in
always good to
line.
see you.
Hi.
So Ryan and Paloma are going to talk about Pompe Community. This is a new initiative that started about a year or so ago. As you can see right off the bat, is not an advocacy organization. So anybody in the community can participate and can benefit from what this program has to offer. So I'll turn it over to Ryan and Paloma.
Thanks. And thanks again, Heather. I think the work that Pompe Alliance does to try to bring together community and give everybody a stage so that all the great work that's happening from each of the orgs can get a little bit of spotlight and can be made available to the community is awesome. And it's in that spirit that we are actually last and also least in this sense because we're not an advocacy org, we're not competing, we're not trying to do anything that necessarily the advocacy orgs are doing, but rather just trying to build out some infrastructure and support for each of the orgs, for each of the folks that are participating in the Pompe ecosystem to try to improve the health of it. As Tiffany mentioned, there's multiple different folks with different roles in the ecosystem, and there's been different power dynamics in the past, and just trying to find where there's alignment, pre-competitive alignment to help move the whole thing along. So what that looks like, each of the orgs you've heard some, or most of the orgs you've heard from here are already participating in the rest. We're already, we we stay open and transparent. That's one of the important things here. So yeah, the overall ethos of the effort is that we're trying to embody the cross section or the intersection of all these different roles within the ecosystem, with the explicit purpose to accelerate the rate at which we're developing new knowledge that helps us sort of maximize ecosystem health and maximize our movement towards the health for folks that are experiencing Pompe. And then our foundational beliefs, there's a bunch, there's some here that you can see in there, but the main one there is that our competition is against the unknown, not each other. So the framework of how this kind of works in a very simplified way is that Pompe.community is the public facing idea behind it, which is like meant to be a town square for everybody. It definitely needs to evolve from where it's at, but that's the idea. The architects of that town square are the Pompe Consortium, and we also have support from Global Genes, which is a sort of this well-established organization in rare disease that helps to organize efforts within rare disease. So on the plan, so building out the infrastructure, what the things that we need to work on are meant to be the effort of the consortium, which is made up of multiple roles and perspectives, where members actively participate in building community infrastructure, and working groups plan and execute strategy. And then there's another piece of it that that is the data collection project, which we've partnered with RareX's research, or sorry, with Global Genes' research program, RareX, because there's a lot of work that goes into correctly managing data, and so you don't want to mess around with that. And so they have some experience. They have the experience in that, and are working on that part of it. And we'll go into that in just a second. So they're within Global Genes, RareX is really a partner acting as the custodian and lead on the stewardship of the data collection project. Some quick highlights on the data collection project is that the data is patient owned and managed. There are some various data repositories throughout rare disease that exist, and some of them are industry owned, and some of them are institution owned, and some of them are organization owned, and those kinds of things. Part of this accelerating the rate at which we're developing knowledge goal is that data needs to be accessible to anybody who has a research interest, who also can show that they have that they have the ability to be responsible with that data. And that's one side of the coin. And the other side of the coin is, just because somebody chooses to participate in sharing their data does not mean that they should be giving up any kind of right to anybody else to do what they want with it, that in a way that supersedes what that individual's own wishes are. So patient owned and managed data, so that nobody can do anything with your data that you don't want them to do, and that you have the ability to control that and have preferences on that that are more granular than just, well, if I don't like it, I can choose not to participate. So built right into the infrastructure and governance of it is that RareX does not sell the data or have the right to sell our data, any of the data of the participation or of the participants. Global data collection is the goal here. Completely agreed with Tiffany's point here that, and just to put some numbers to it, right now, currently, the U.S. is roughly half of the global market for Pompe, but it is not true that the U.S. is half of the number of people that are that have Pompe. But we've just, especially as some kind of confluence of our payer structure, our very privileged payer structure for most, and then also a number of years of enhanced diagnostic tools. That trend is only going to continue. And it's wonderful in a sense that we can diagnose more people, help more people, drive more research, do these kinds of things. But it's something that we have to be really vigilant about, to not lose sight that somebody born in a different country or something like that is same as one of us. So we always want to look out for our global community, because that's what it truly, that's how where our community truly is. The infrastructure costs are supported, there are significant infrastructure costs that are supported by industry participants in exchange for their funds to do the infrastructure part of it. They do not get they do not get any privilege to your data beyond what you want for it. So just to reiterate, that patient owned and managed part of it, the way that it works for transparency is that they get access for the data is embargoed from other commercial entities for a couple of years. Certain data is embargoed for commercial entities for a couple of years, so that the commercial folks, the folks that stand to make money on developing treatments, are incentivized to help support this infrastructure and in theory offset some of their other costs. That helps them go faster. But they don't. But again, they're for their money, they do not get access to it beyond what the patient says what they want shared. Partnership and support for advocacy organizations. So this is part of building out the overall project, is that supporting each organization's own autonomy in a non-competitive way. Structured and standardized data to enable comparison to the data sets, the government, including the handling governance and including the handling of personal health, protected health information, is all covered. And I guess one thing to emphasize here that's maybe lost in the big shuffle is that there's a lot of, aside from handling protected health information, which has a little bit of a different definition and set of requirements depending on where you are in the world. There's also needing to meet a quality to be considered research grade data, usable for regulatory agencies, usable for offsetting costs in clinical trials and those kinds of things. And so all of that is also part of the standard that is set by RareX on this. And then again, always towards the goal of accelerating research and drug development. And so here it's just getting involved. Some quick ways to do so. There's a staying up to date on Pompe.community, and just to reiterate, each of the organizations that is presented tonight and other resources are all listed on the Pompe.community website, because again, each of these organizations does amazing things, and somebody who's diagnosed should be able to find them as easily as possible. If you want an active role, the Pompe Consortium is this group of folks that are coming together to help steer the decisions that are being made. We had a poster at the recent World Symposium outlining some of the work of one of the data working groups, which we can share out probably this week on social media for those who didn't get a chance to make it to Worlds. And if you want to participate in research, which I'd encourage you to do, also encourage you to participate in the IPA Erasmus survey. Like participating in research is how we go faster. But so rarex.org/Pompe is how you can sign up. One of the cool things here is there's a bunch of areas of research that are interesting and helpful to include folks that don't have a diagnosis. So for example, if you have a sibling in that same household, but that's a carrier, that's an interesting reference for some of the data that researchers are interested in. So this effort is not exclusive to folks that have a Pompe diagnosis. It is, but it is inclusive of family and carriers and those kinds of folks that can help develop a data set that helps answer certain research questions, and then can be filtered down to only folks that are diagnosed for other research questions. And then we've got some socials, and Paloma runs our social media amongst other engagement activities. So you can check out if you sign up on one of those, you're also going to get a lot of really trying to amplify the great work being done by others, but trying to again support our community, build out our community, because to borrow from Tiffany, together we are strong, and that's how we go forward.
Thanks, Ryan. Paloma, did you have something you wanted to add? I know you steer the engagement that committee. Do you want to speak a little bit about that?
Sure. I mean, this is why Ryan and I partner really well together because Ryan's very technical and I'm the girl over here sipping a beer that is going to try and connect all of that for you in a very easy way. I think the biggest thing for everybody, or our hope for everybody to understand, is when we're talking about Pompe.community, it really is just a place for us so that anybody that's new to the community, any family members that are eager to learn more, or have questions about, hey, I have this copay, don't know how to pay. Allison's group is there to help. Hey, we just saw a mom in the moms group that's been asking about mental health resources. We can send her over to Heather's Way. It really is the idea that this is going to be the place that we know is trusted by us as a community, that all of you can be represented as a community without having to have this horrible experience that we've all had in Google and what is real, what is not, what is current. This is really going to be our home. And then just in touching about the data collection project, this has been a project that I've been really, really excited to be helping on. I think in the day and age that we are in, the moment in time that we're at right now, this is the moment where we really have to take ownership. I've seen a lot of us posting about things that are happening with funding and halts of information from the NIH right now, and how is that going to affect not just the rare disease community, but how is that really going to affect us? And this is our time right now. We've been given an opportunity to really not lose anything, but really take charge and ownership over all of this. I was having a conversation with Allison, and we were talking about, things like, how do we know how to get the most out of a treatment that's already available? I want every single ounce of success out of that while I'm waiting for whatever awesome or better or more efficient is going to come next. And unfortunately, right now, there's no way to know that, right? But something like a data collection project like this, where we have ownership and we can say, hey, we are participating in this and we want to know more about this, that's going to give us the ability to do those things. So now in this moment, in this time, it's more than imperative for us to really own our future, have a stake in that future. And as silly as it sounds, this is our opportunity and way to do that. So I would encourage everyone, if you ever have questions, you're not sure about it, technical issues, please, Ryan and I are always here to help you guys with that.
Thank you, Paloma. And I'm really glad you touched on that NIH piece and the advocacy piece. We do a lot of advocacy work, and we have an attorney on our board who is a former lobbyist. And just so everybody knows, Pompe Alliance is currently working on draft letters that patients can use to send to their representatives. And we'll have more information about that soon, as people can email us and we can send them to you, and you can add your own story but we're doing a couple on different issues. So just so people are aware of that. But thank you, Paloma. You are always so passionate and how you speak. And I truly appreciate your advocacy for this community, because it is amazing. If you've not ever been to an event where Paloma has talked about the journey and her family. All right. So if we can open it up now to questions. Again, if you don't feel comfortable asking a question, feel free to put it in the chat. Vanessa and I are monitoring the chat. Paloma, do you have a separate separate contact information through
Sure. Yeah,
the community, Pompe.community?
I do not, but I share my personal email all of the time. So I'm happy to throw that in the chat. I love meeting people in our community. You guys are the best.
Thank you. And I believe Ryan's was on the information that he shared to the chat for everyone to see. And so that Paloma just put her email in the chat. I saw Marissa's is Marcia's is there, Melanie's was there, and then Tiffany and Allison shared theirs on their slides. Do we have any questions for our presenters? All right. Is there anything, Vanessa, that I'm missing to forgetting to talk about before we end this evening?
No, I think you covered it, but yeah, there's a lot of contact info in the chat.
Yeah.
So just kind of glance through there and, you know, write down the email addresses that you're interested in.
Right. And I see Anne is here. And we would love for you to come one night, Anne, and present, or whenever is convenient for you. And Tiffany put Amanda Yost, her information in the chat also. And Amanda is the executive director of Marshall's Mountain. So we're trying to get there's a few more organizations that, you know, we just want, because we wanted everybody to be able to get enough time to share and for everybody to ask questions if there were any. We didn't want to bring everybody in on one night. So we're trying to, you know, if we can coordinate another time where some of the other organizations can come, we'll do this again, and bring in the other organizations, and because Anne's organization is really doing some great work in nutrition. So it would be great to have them come and talk. And then Pompe Alliance does, we do our meetings are quarterly. So if patients have things that they're interested in hearing about, please just, you know, shoot me an email, and we can try to find someone to speak. We're thinking our next meeting will be about insurance, and benefits, and when you going to a new job, and things like that. And Melanie and I, she had to go, but Melanie and I had a conversation about the difference between Medicare and Medicaid, and helping people figure out some of those issues. So we're kind of working on having a meeting about private insurance, public insurance, especially now, because I know that's a big issue for a lot of people, and I know people are concerned about it. All right. So if there aren't any questions, I'd like to say again, thank you, Allison, Tiffany, Paloma, Ryan, Melanie has left already, but I really appreciate you all coming into the meeting and sharing the great work that your respective organizations are doing. And just, you know, everybody have the contact information. There's websites, all of those things. And Facebook, everybody is on social media. So you can also find a lot of information out there on social media as well. All right. Thank you,
Thank you,
Tiffany.
Heather.
You're
Yeah, thank you
welcome.
so much.
You're
Thank
welcome.
you.
Bye-bye. Have a good night, everybody.
Thank you.